Tell us a bit about the experience with, how you met Mike, how you met Rainmaker, how did that all start, and eventually how did you end up meeting Julie?
Actually, it's really parallels a lot of what you've been saying as well. That it's just been a really tremendous experience. I've known Mike on and off for years, and one way or another, as soon as I found out about Rainmaker, I knew I wanted to support him with that. And it's just been a great process of kind of learning more and more about the kind of projects that I wanted to get involved in. And I think what Rainmaker have really offered me, particularly as a sort of breadth and depth to what I couldn't have done on my own. So it sort of broadened the amount of charities that I was able to find out about, and then the sort of the due diligence and the background research that they've helped put together has been really invaluable.
So Julie's charity, the Orchid Project, is one of those charities. Perhaps, Julie, can you tell us a little bit about what your charity does and, well, tell us what you do.
Thanks, Nick. It's wonderful to be here tonight. I set up and founded the Orchid Project in April 2011, and we have a very simple, achievable vision. We want to create a world free from female genital cutting within the next generation. And somewhat remarkably, we believe that that is entirely possible. I know when you hear the phrase female genital cutting, you probably think, I want to look away. And that was certainly my experience. I spent 18 years in the private sector and then went and did VSO in Ethiopia. And I just had a Damascus moment. I discovered 75% of all girls and women in Ethiopia went through this practice. And I had a choice. I had a choice to look away and come back to my nice private sector life, which involved helping build Crossrail, as unlikely as that sounds, or to try and walk towards this issue. And my moment was in the north of Ethiopia, a beautiful place called Lalla-Maharajh, and I was playing with two little girls, and they were under the age of 5, and I knew that they couldn't have gone through this practice because of how they were. And I wanted to take them to their parents and beg their parents not to cut them and say, please, I'll pay for their education, I will do whatever I can. And I knew I had no language, no right, no ability to save two little girls. But that was my moment when I said, I can't do this, I've got to walk away from these two girls. But I will only walk away if I do whatever I can to try and end female genital cutting. And that journey began 4 years ago. It's been an incredible journey. The most incredible thing was finding a model in West Africa that is working so profoundly that thousands of communities are choosing to stop cutting their daughters. As an ex-business person, that to me gave me the foundation I needed to come back to London and say, if we've got this story of hope, success, and opportunity, then we need to get behind that. We need to shine the light on where female genital cutting is ending, and we need to support that movement so that within the next generation, it really can end.
And Julie, can you just tell us, how has Rainmaker as a foundation helped you? When did you meet them? How did they get involved? Is there something that you can tell us from a charity's point of view? We've heard from another charity before, which was incredibly valuable. From your point of view, how do they actually help you, and what's happening today?
I like to think of Rainmaker, and Mike may forgive me for this, I'm not sure, as a sort of godparent. So they're there always in the background, and I feel they've got my back. So yes, we went through due diligence with Rainmaker, but equally we know that people who approach Rainmaker have also gone through that process. Maybe a better way to describe it is an upmarket dating agency. And what I really feel all the time is that what I have is a whole team of people working on Orchid's behalf. We're a team of 5, As others who've said here tonight in the charitable sector, fundraising is the hardest gig imaginable. There is no way I could meet a room like this on my own. And so to have this godparent status, looking out for us, checking in with us, saying, what do you really need as a charity, is absolutely remarkable.
Just to finish off, because I know everyone must be keen to get onto their desserts, but Joe, can you just tell us, how are you involved in terms of your day-to-day, or perhaps not day-to-day, but how are you hoping to really help Julia and the Orchid project as a Rainmaker?
I think on lots of different levels, I think. To me, I see what Julia's doing as akin to a movement. It's like when foot binding was outlawed, it's like the end of anti-slavery. And I totally share in her vision that within a generation it is possible. And I think as mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, we've all got something that we can contribute. And I think for me, that's through my work in maternal health. There's a lot of network, sort of shared contacts, which is already we've started to exchange numbers and details.
Do you think that the whole point, sorry, I said that was the last question, clearly it's not. You mentioned networking, and I know that Mike mentions a lot, the whole power of having this network of Rainmakers. How, is that something that you think you can bring to the table and ultimately help the Orchid project?
I think absolutely. I think everybody has got, as soon as you start thinking about how you could help, how you could connect up, people suddenly think, oh, this person's there, and so-and-so there, and you sort of join up those dots. And I think obviously through funding, I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot, that I'm really passionate about, is unrestricted funding, and being able to donate where I think sometimes it's very hard for charities where they have very sort of structured guidelines of what they receive.
And I think, Joe, your unrestricted funding, genuinely, it's like I can breathe out. It's that you trust me to spend the money that I need to in a way that's right for Orchid. And you very rarely get either core funding or unrestricted funding. So that is a massive difference for us.
Yeah, and I know that very much from working with SAT in the Renaissance, that we are still raising 25,000 we need for a funder, so if anyone's feeling very plush. Right, ladies and gentlemen, please would you join me in thanking Joe and Julia.